guys, I'm back in my YouTube channel and I am back with another one of these animations. And this animation is, I live in a house with high radiation. The last episode when we did one animation, you smashed that like button. And yes, we're doing another one animation. If you want more animations, then hit that like button and subscribe button. And yes, let's hear the animation. 3, 2, 1, let's start.
Hi, my name is Otto. It happened that my family and I bought an apartment with a surprise that broke our lives. The name of this surprise is radiation. You probably think that our house is located near Chernobyl, but that's not true at all.
No, I don't think so, because I don't know even what that means.
Our area is generally considered to be environmentally pristine. There are no roads and plants nearby, but there's a forest and a river. Well, how is that not an ideal place to live? At first, we were incredibly happy about the fact that we were lucky to buy an apartment in this area at a rock-bottom price. The price was several times lower than the average market price, but the former owner of an apartment assured us that there were no pitfalls. He just urgently needed money. We're a quite poor family.
I don't believe you, because that house is radioactive and he just is selling it because he doesn't want to live there.
So even this sum of money was very great for us. However, my parents were afraid to miss such a chance and applied for 2 real estate purchase loans. Inspired by luck, we quickly made a deal and moved to our new apartment. Finally, we have our own house, and what is more, in an elite area, which we got at the best price. Just incredible luck. After moving, we found out that most of the apartments are empty for some reason, and the few neighbors looked very sickly and weak. They were unwilling to make contact and were very suspicious. Of course, this was very strange, but we wrote off everything for the flu season then pulled. 2 weeks after we moved, a young man died in one of the apartments in our house. Do you know what the biggest surprise?
Well, that's obviously because look at the title.
It seemed to us that everyone didn't care what happened, and moreover, all the neighbors looked like the living dead. Once, as our whole family was playing in the playground, an elderly woman walked up to us, pointed the finger at our house, and asked if we were living in it. We said yes, we lived there, but we moved less than a month ago. She told us that it was better for us to leave until disaster struck. What was she talking about? Of course, the tenants of the house were strange, but the disaster? She obviously went crazy, but my parents still decided to find out in more detail what the matter was. She said that in the place of our house, there used to be an abandoned graveyard where monks were buried. However, about 100 years ago, both the monastery and the graveyard were broken down and...
Okay, why did you build a house in a graveyard? It obviously doesn't seem spooky to you. Maybe there are the bodies under your feet. Bodies. I don't see the point to build a house on top of a church, on top of a graveyard.
Several decades later, our house was built in that place. She also said that everyone who had the opportunity to escape from there did it, while others remained, but live in constant expectation of their time coming. 20 years have passed since our house was built, and during this time, about 100 tenants died there. Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That house is totally cursed.
What I call statistics, we felt uncomfortable, although none of our family was ever superstitious, but soon this meeting was forgotten. We were involved in arranging our new apartment and other household problems. About 2 months later, we started to get sick with the whole family. First, my sister, then my mother, then I, and last, my father fell ill. We all had severe weakness, nausea, and dizziness, probably some kind of virus, we thought. Then one of the honestly told him that we were all unwell and probably the daughter had brought some infection from the kindergarten. The neighbor answered in a muffled voice, "There are no infections here. We all have..."
Yeah. How does a kid get a virus from a kindergarten? Is there coronavirus in the kindergarten? That's stupid.
One infection, a curse that fell upon our house during its construction from the lips of the builder. He said that one of the bricklayers wasn't paid a salary and was fired for drunkenness. Taking his work clothes from an unfinished house, he said, "There will be no happiness for anyone here. People will be sick and die. I curse this house." A new version, but it looks more like a weekend was announced in a bug house, and its patients decided to spend it together with us. What are the curses?
Wait, well, that guy, yeah, he was drunk, or he just put the infection in the house? One thing about that, why did you curse a house if you build it? Why to destroy a house that you built with your own hands?
In the 21st century, everyone is crazy here. Time passed by, we didn't get better. It seemed that this was some kind of protracted disease. Probably we all have weakened immune systems. It would be necessary to take vitamins and begin to make ourselves fit. Meanwhile, another young man died in our house, and several families moved, having even abandoned their apartments because there were no new residents. That's how only 5 families are left here, including ours. It was very strange, taking into account the location and layout of our house. Why do people not want to live here while the neighboring houses are packed to capacity and the apartments in them are sold in a matter of days? One day, my sister became very ill, and our parents decided to take her to the hospital. She wasn't sent a certain diagnosis, but she was told that she needed a blood transfusion since the level of iron was critically low according to the results of the tests. She spent a couple of weeks in the hospital where she got stronger and began to feel better. As soon as she was dismissed, the next day I got to the hospital with the same symptoms. And all was the same. No certain diagnosis, a critically low level of iron in the...
I have one question. Does a radiation give you red dots on your face? Because I see the son, the mother, have red dots, but the father has only in his forehead.
The blood.
Why?
So transfusion. By the way, already in the hospital, I looked at my reflection in the mirror and then at my parents and realized that we began looking like our neighbors. We had a painful appearance, a glassy stare, and an unhealthy thinness. I wonder I didn't notice this before. Probably because it's hard to notice changes in people that you see every day and more than once. A few days later, my mother checked into a hospital. Her therapist, seeing the address in her patient card, turned pale and said that it was not surprising and that all the residents of our house were periodically hospitalized with the same symptoms, but the reason is unknown to anyone. This was no longer funny. My father decided to bring the remaining neighbors together to discuss our common problem. Maybe there's someone who knows more than us. The neighbors listened to my father and said that we need to call a magician who will cleanse our house of bad energy. They said that they had called him before, and after that everyone felt better for a while. My father was very angry with them. Adult people, and they talk about some kind of a devilry, as if they were stuck in the Stone Age, but he couldn't influence them.
Wait, that guy that was in that suit, the magician, what was he wearing? Is he Chinese or something, or Indian from the 100s? Let's hear the story.
And the very next day, a magician with a drum went around our house, making very strange sounds. It seemed to me that I was participating in some kind of shamanistic ritual, and it was even fun to watch all this. I saw something like that you only see in films about Indians. The neighbors paid a lot of money to the magician
is a physician, and I don't think you should go to this physician because look at his face. He's a crazy scientist. Maybe he put it the radiation. Look at his green shirt. It's convincing.
Some kind of scientific explanation for everything that happens in the end. When he heard about our symptoms, he immediately came to our house with a dosimeter. Turning it on, he cried out in horror. It's just unbelievable. The radiation level in your apartment is almost 100 times higher than the permissible. So here is the deal. Radiation. But how has it appeared in the apartment? We managed to identify the wall from which the indicated level of radioactivity was the highest, and we made a phone call to the city administration. In less than an hour, our house was full of people in protective suits with strange devices, and somehow, very quickly and without additional noise, all the residents of the house were moved to temporary housing. The radioactive wall was dismantled on the same day, and a source of radiation was found there. An ampoule with a radioactive
Wait, that's a bottle, let's say, and how does the radiation go out of that bottle? It's in a bottle closed.
substance. It was only a centimeter long and half a centimeter wide, but it brought so much disasters to the residents of our house and our family in particular. The logical question was, where is it from? The security services took up this question and found the answer within a few days by retrieving the 20-year-old archival records and finding all the people who were involved in the construction of our house. It turned out that during construction, the capsule with the radioactive substance dropped out of the level gauge. The builders themselves searched for it for about a week in the mountains of crushed stone and cement, but could not find it. The deadlines were running out. They didn't continue the search further. They were afraid of publicity, so they left everything as it is, exposing the lives of future residents of the house to mortal danger.
Those builders are stupid, and now I understand that guy didn't put the radiation. It's just a helicopter, and the radiation just fall down. Now I understand. And you need to build better, that's for sure, builders.
So happens that this roll was exactly in the wall of our apartment. We were all diagnosed with radiation sickness. We were very lucky that we survived, but the consequences of the received doses of radiation will remain with us for life. You know, I'm proud of my father, because if it weren't for his skepticism and contrary disposition, then most likely no one from our family and from our neighbors would have survived. And I'm still shocked by everything that happened. It turns out that you don't need to go to Chernobyl to get a lethal dose of radiation. This is possible in an ordinary elite house, and where you hope for a happy life. The state gave us an apartment.
This video has a lesson. Never buy a house that seems suspicious.
In a new house, and also assign lifetime benefits to all radiation victims. But still, lost health cannot be bought for all the money in the world. Due to the negligence of several builders, we became disabled. They tried to save their jobs and the reputation of their company by...
Okay, this story is finished. And yeah, we know one lesson in this, we learned a lesson in this video. Never, if you feel sick, all your family or all your apartment sick, there is a radiation in the wall. And yeah, if you want more animations, then hit that like button and subscribe button. And bye. Have a good day, guys.